Today on Teach Me How to Vegan.
So notice a theme in these meals is ways to enjoy the heck out of your vegetables.
Yeah.
Because the way we grew up and stuff, it's like we're not conditioned to be like, vegetables.
Exactly.
You know,
but
but
then
then when
just a side item.
it was always a side that you had to eat.
Yeah.
To get your dessert or something like that.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people like feel about vegetables, but it doesn't have to be that way. When you start exploring and making these foods, you're like, they really are good.
Yeah.
And they really do add a lot to foods, to meals and stuff.
Yes.
And so you just gotta do it in such a way
that,
right?
Yeah, you just gotta find ways that you like them.
Yeah. Welcome to Teach Me How to Vegan,
a podcast where we explore how to switch to a vegan diet.
I'm Tony, a health educator, fitness instructor, and plant-based eating program manager for Animal Protection of New Mexico.
I'm Mickey, a stay-at-home homeschooling mom and vegan cook who likes to play in the kitchen.
Our family stopped eating meat in 2007.
And we went vegan in 2016. Now we like to share with others what we've learned.
Thanks for joining us.
Let's get started.
Welcome, everyone. We'd like to wish you all a happy new year.
Yep.
Big hopes for this coming year.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we thought it would be great to kick off the year with an episode about some healthy meals that we all enjoy, ourselves and our children included. We've talked a lot about comfort foods and sweets and all kinds of different things. And we also have lots of really nutritious meals that we enjoy on a regular basis.
We do.
That we fall back on a lot.
Yes.
So whatever.
Some staples.
Right. So whether you're trying to make changes right now or not, you know, these meals will definitely come in handy. These recipes will be helpful. And if you are, this is a great way to kickstart that.
Yep.
Now, they might not fit everybody's. There's so many different definitions of quote unquote healthy eating or, you know, whatever dietary changes you're trying to make. But when we say healthy, what we mean is these meals are built with whole foods.
Yes.
That's what we're going for. So the whole food, so not processed or, grinded down too much or additives, things added to it, added sugars and fats and stuff like that. That's kept to a minimum in these meals, and they're based around whole foods, and they're also high in vegetables.
Yes.
If your goal was just to add more vegetables to your life, we got you here.
Yeah, these would be good recipes
this is
for
really
that.
Good. Yeah, and I was just telling you the other day, I haven't been like craving vegetables lately.
Yeah.
I'm just like not feeling them.
Yeah. The only way we wanted them is like in soups and stews.
Yeah. When I think about soups and stews, then vegetables sound really good.
Yeah.
But like, broccoli and hummus is not sounding good to me right now.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's the season.
We fall back on soups and stews in the winter a lot.
Yeah.
It's very warming and grounding and comforting.
Right. So we've got some of those on this list. And then everything else on this list sounds really good to me right now. So
well,
even the not soups and stews.
I'll have to start making these meals to get vegetables in us.
Exactly. All right. So do you have anything else to say about our list before we just get into it?
I don't think so.
Starting off with soups and stews, we're going to kick it off with one of my all-time favorite meals.
Corn chowder.
Of all time.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, corn chowder. It's a recipe that we got from a YouTuber, High Carb Hannah, and we just kind of copied it. And, we don't always do it exactly to a T.
Right. I think it's pretty close.
But it's pretty close, yeah. I think it's the corn I don't always do the exact amount of corn.
Yeah, because you
just throw it in.
Yeah.
And
you measure that with your heart too.
Yeah, because it fills our Instant Pot to the max. So I just put all the other ingredients and then load it with corn until it's maxed out. And whatever that is what it is.
Yeah.
And I really love corn. I have a thing with corn. But I don't know. Do you think that it tastes really corny?
I don't, actually.
Oddly enough, yeah.
It really doesn't, because there's other things in it, which is one of the reasons I really like it, because there's red pepper, there's potato, and red lentils in it as well. And so it's not just corn. It's a creamy, filling, yummy corn chowder. I don't know that I really had much corn chowder before.
Me neither.
This corn chowder.
Yeah.
And there's just something about it that's just so good. And I do think it's all the other stuff that's in it as well really, really adds to it. I think the red pepper and lentils adds a whole lot.
A lot. Yeah. And it kind of adds to the color too. So it almost comes out like a light
yellow. It's really,
it's hard to explain, but
yeah.
And the lentils kind of break down and like blend into it. And so it just, the texture is amazing.
Yeah, I think the lentils and potatoes really gives it some good bulk.
Right. And then the recipe calls for like, this is the one thing we don't add. Her recipe calls for a curry paste.
I think so, a red curry paste.
And we never put that. And I think it also calls for some other spice that we don't always put in it. But what we do is I add my own cayenne pepper to my bowl afterward because I like it super hot.
Yeah, or chipotle.
Or chipotle pepper
on top is
seasoning.
real tasty too.
Yeah. I usually, whichever one we have is what I go with. And sometimes Fortune will want a little cayenne. He likes a little kick to his food too. But you can add it to your bowls individually. That's the way we go.
I think that's why we left it out because you never know how spicy that stuff is going to be. And we got different levels of being able to handle spice in this house.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were saying, Whole Foodsy, it's creamy because you do 1 can of coconut milk, of the full fat coconut milk, but that stretches for the whole pot, which is a lot of servings. Yes. And other than that, it's literally just vegetables and lentils and vegetable broth. It's really hearty and healthy. And then we like to make rice and kind of serve it over rice. I love it with brown rice. I'm not into this with white rice.
You are not.
Not. So that just kind of adds to the nutritional value and kind of rounds it out because there's no grains in the chowder.
Yeah.
So that's that. Highly recommend it. You could do it on the stove or in the Instant Pot. We do it in the Instant Pot all the time, but you can totally do it on the stove. Either way, highly recommended. All right. The second one is also one of my favorites as well.
Yes, it is.
And I don't know why. It's very simple, but so it's lentil stew, and it's a simple recipe that we discovered long ago when we first went vegetarian, and we got this
easily 13 years ago
vegetarian cookbook, and I just love it. I can't explain it.
And it is very simple. It's made with, I think they're technically green lentils.
Green lentils
and vegetables. It's got, what does it have? It's got
carrots,
tomatoes, onion
and garlic, of course.
Yeah. And then you add a green to it, and sometimes we use kale or spinach or just kind of whatever we have in the fridge.
Or a mix,
yeah.
But that, like,
you could throw celery in there, and you just love it.
I know.
You always want like a huge pot
because I want to eat it for like days. The lentil and potato, it's just and then like with the greens in it, I don't know, it's just so good.
And then of course some other spices, and I think that really adds to it too. The cumin goes in it, and that adds a lot.
Yeah, it's another highly recommended. And
yes, and we like it with bread on the side, or I like it with bread on the side.
Right.
I guess I should say. You don't really care. You'll just eat bowls and bowls of the lentil stew.
Yep.
But I like there's certain meals that I like a bread on the side, and so you could do biscuit or crescent roll or.
And by certain meals, she means every pasta and soup known to humankind.
I mean, I roll my eyes, but I don't think you're wrong. Anyway. But yeah, you don't have to have anything on the side. And of course, if you add a bread that, makes it, a little more processed if you don't make it from scratch, or otherwise it is really tasty.
Really good and super Whole Foodsy.
Yes.
All right. And then the next one is kind of a heavy favorite in the house, especially with the kids. And it's broccoli cheese soup.
Yes. This is one of my favorite soups.
You and Constantine want this all the time.
We request it a lot, especially as the temperatures get cooler. It's so good.
And it's amazing how healthy it is.
Yeah. Because there's a little bit of potato in it just to give it some bulk, but you could easily skip it if you wanted to. Sometimes I throw some red lentils in there to give it some bulk if I don't have a lot of potatoes. But otherwise, it's like broccoli, carrot, potato, onion, broth, a little bit of plant milk, or a can of full fat coconut milk if you want.
So like creamy it up.
It's very simple. And then there's a couple of variations. You can do it in the Instant Pot. and then just blend everything. And then it's pretty thick. So then you can just add more liquid to thin it, to get it to the thinness you want. Then I have another recipe that also has steamed cauliflower in it to help like give it that creamy. And that one's really tasty as well. So maybe we'll try to link both.
Yeah.
And or have a recipe card for both.
Yeah. I was just surprised the first time I actually like made it with you, and I was like, that's all you put in it? It's literally just like vegetables, potatoes, and
liquid and some bouillon.
And then you kind of just blend it and add some nutritional yeast for the like cheesy flavor.
Yeah. It's so easy. Yeah.
And it's really surprising how much the kids like it.
Yes, I know. And yeah, like that one that I showed you, the Instant Pot one, is way easier, and I make that a lot more often because it's so easy. And I appreciate how much the kids really enjoy it. Then the other one, there's a little bit more steps to it. The one with the cauliflower, you steam the cauliflower first.
Right.
And then I think there's also like white beans that you blend in to also get the creamy.
Oh, okay.
And because I don't think there's any full fat coconut milk, and there's very little plant milk. I think you use the white beans and the cauliflower as the creamy.
That's how you get it creamy without adding a bunch of fat or oil or anything like that.
Yes. Yeah. And that one's really tasty as well. But it's got a few more steps. And so, but the Instant Pot one, I don't always use a can of full fat milk. Sometimes I just throw some plant milk in there, whatever I have, like unsweetened almond milk, I think is what I usually use, because that one doesn't have any vanilla in it. And just add it until it's got the thickness or thinness that I want. The end. And then of course bread.
And
this
then,
is one
of course,
I prefer sourdough with broccoli cheese soup.
Right.
That's what I recommend.
And by prefer, you mean you like probably won't even eat it or make it if there's no sourdough.
Well, we just got a couple of like French baguettes, the like shelf stable French baguettes. So I'll try that. And I'm sure that'll be tasty. But my preference is sourdough with this one.
And I would agree, actually. It's one place where I'm with you on that.
Okay. All right.
All right. We're going to go away from soups and stews right now.
Are you sure?
Some other things.
Because the next one might fall under.
Would it?
I don't know. It's got the same kind of consistency. I don't know if it technically is, but it's got the same consistency as a soup or a stew.
Okay. Well,
we'll let the people decide.
Yeah. But what we're talking about is curry.
Yes.
And if you've never made it for yourself at home, do it.
Yes.
It is not that hard.
It's really not.
To make delicious curry. I'm blown away by how easy it is. Because I used to always love to get it there's a Thai place here. It's called Thai Vegan. And there's a place called Siam's Cafe. And I have raved about those places my entire life. Like way before I was vegetarian.
Yeah.
Their tofu curry is like the best thing. And I thought, we can never make that at home. We have to go eat it out, right? It's way too complicated. I'm not saying we make it as good as Siam's.
Right.
And we don't make red curry at home
that
much at all. And I like their red curry. But anyway, long story short, it's not that hard to make for yourself.
Yeah.
And
we make a yellow curry at home.
Right. And Mickey's yellow curry is so good that I refuse to eat yellow curry out anymore ever again. It's always a disappointment.
Yeah. So he has to do red or green curry out now.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is cool because those are delicious.
Yeah.
It's still a treat to go to those places and get red curry, but yellow curry at home is equally as much of a treat.
Yeah.
For me personally.
And I think the trick is to find a curry powder you really like or a curry paste. So we have a yellow curry powder that we get from a mom and pop little market here in town. And that's the best curry powder that we like.
Yeah.
I tried to get one, I think. Where did I get it? Sprouts, maybe? And it didn't have the same flavors, and it was much more spicy. And so I made the effort on purpose, like intentionally, just to go get plenty of curry powder from our mom and pop market.
Yeah. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. We can link it if you're local.
Yeah.
It's on Montgomery and San Pedro. They used to have like a little tiny, there was like a old Allsups or something.
Yeah.
And then they moved on up across the street to a bigger market.
Yep.
Rightfully so. And they also make the best
pita
bread
in the world. Their pita is so good. Their hummus is really good too.
Their hummus is really good too. Yeah. One time I just want to stop and get a stack of pita bread and eat that for a snack.
And we did.
Because they, oh my God, hot and fresh.
Yes.
That was a good I want that right now. Hummus doesn't sound good to me right now, but their hummus and pita bread sounds good to me right now. So anyway, that curry is like the magic ingredient, the curry powder.
I do think the trick is to find a good curry powder that you really like, and then just keep practicing. And I think I started with a recipe that was like 30-minute curry or something like that. So we'll link it or have a recipe card for you guys.
And then once you do it a few times, it's one of those where you can just throw it together without a recipe and without thinking.
Yeah, and you can use whatever vegetables you have on hand. Like, these 4 things need to get got because they're going to start getting funky. It's time to use them. Throw it in curry.
Chop them up and throw them in curry.
And you can do tofu or chickpea or just veggie curry. Like,
it's hard to go wrong.
Yeah.
But tofu is the best.
The chickpea's pretty good too.
It is really good, yeah.
But
tofu is the best.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So now we can officially say we're going away from soups and stews.
Or things in that realm.
Right. But I did want to throw in, just as a bonus, we recently discovered like a mom and pop company, I guess you could call them, that sells like instant soups.
Yes.
And so you just order and it comes in like a little packet and it's like a powder.
Yes.
That makes an instant soup. That is so amazingly
it's so good. Yeah. And you can do like as bigger, like if you just need a little snack in a mug, you can do this soup in a mug or you can do a bowl, like, and it's been really nice
or whatever. Yeah. And it's all vegan, I believe, organic, and it's like from their garden, and then they dehydrate stuff. I'm not sure how they do it, but it's actually nutritious. It's really nutritious.
Yeah.
And it's not like super salty, like a lot of packaged soups have a lot of sodium.
Right.
So you can just add a little salt or like a bouillon or something on the side if you want that, but if you don't, it's super flavorful. It's
really,
like a lot of them don't even need it.
Exactly.
And there's like, they have a leek soup,
that leek
which was my favorite,
good,
but Constantine loved the leek too.
Yeah.
So like the kids were into it. So I just wanted to like throw that out there because I think that's an amazing, convenience food that's vegan and nutritious, that you can actually get some nutrition in if you're on the go or in a hurry.
Yeah.
I think that would really help people that are trying to make healthy changes. So I just want to throw out there, we'll link them. It's Judy's Green Veggies.
Nice.
We'll link that in the show notes too. All right, so let's get into some different things now.
Okay.
Another one is one of my favorite meals of all time.
This is one of your favorites of all time.
Summer rolls and peanut sauce.
Oh my goodness. It's
also,
so good.
Some people call them spring rolls. I like to differentiate and call them summer rolls because to me spring rolls mean like deep fried or...
Yeah, and it's a different paper than egg roll. So there's egg rolls that are like, it's a thicker wrap that you can fry, and then spring rolls is like a thin wrap that gets fried, and then summer rolls is like the rice paper, the white wrap.
Almost like see-through,
right?
That you wet and then you roll it, and so you can kind of see the fillings inside of it, and it's not fried or even cooked. It just kind of dries, and so
it's really fresh.
It's
really good for like hot summer days.
Best summer food, like in the world.
Yeah.
And again, it's so nutritious because it's just vegetables wrapped up in a very thin rice paper.
Mm-hmm. We like to do some rice noodles in it as well. And I think that adds a lot.
It does.
I really like it with that, but it's not necessary.
Right.
You can just fill it with vegetables.
You can also add tofu if you want for the texture or... to switch up the nutritional profile of them, if you will.
And if you marinate the tofu beforehand, then you can have like some other flavors in there as well.
You could also do tempeh or marinated tempeh. We have a good tempeh marinade on our website as well.
Yeah.
But
and it's nice too because you can also make like fruit ones that are almost like a dessert. And then I think you can probably find like some kind of like, I don't know, fruit sauce that you can make to dip it in or something.
Right. Well, I've done it before
or a date caramel sauce or something.
We did them just with a chocolate sauce.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that was actually really good. That recipe's on the website also. But it's, if you put like strawberries and bananas and then dip it in a chocolate sauce.
That sounds
super good.
Yeah. So with the summer rolls, we like the rice noodles. And let's see, peppers, tomato, avocado, greens, and...
To me, the main ingredients are the peppers and the rice noodles. Cucumber,
yes. Cucumber, tomato, pepper, a green, the rice noodles, avocado. That's usually a really tasty combination.
And personally, the avocado is not even.
Right.
Usually it's like a very necessary ingredient. And
but
in summer rolls, I don't think it is.
Yeah, you don't need it. And because some people might think, I don't know, avocado and peanut sauce sounds a little, but it's not. It's really good. And but you could also leave the avocado out and it's still really good.
For sure. And then again, this is super whole foods. The only like fat that you're getting is coming from the peanut butter in the peanut sauce. But if you wanted a super low fat version, you can make the peanut sauce with the PB2 powder.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be like really gross with that.
You did. You were not
I was
convinced.
not into that idea, but we tried it one time. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it needed the fat to be delicious, but I stand corrected.
Yeah. It is a little labor intensive because you have to, you dunk each wrap and then you assemble it and roll it. And so it is a little labor intensive if you're doing like all the vegetable chopping and rolling and wrapping and all of that at the same time. But you can space it out, or you can just post up at your kitchen table and wrap it up.
Or get the whole family involved and kind of sit around the table and talk. And it's a good activity together. And then the kids get to practice it. And it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
The kids might have fun with it. They might make a mess. You might have some messy rolls, but it's fine.
But they might be more inclined to eat it too.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that. So it's a good way to get vegetables in them because they can eat these vegetable filled creations that they made.
Yep. All right. So next is one of my favorites.
There we go.
And it's been a staple in the house for quite a long time.
And it's basically fajitas with beans and rice.
Yes.
And you can do your fajitas any kind of way you want. We just do all the colors of peppers and onion. And
sometimes tomato if I have tomato.
Right. And you just saute them up. And
it's, oh my gosh, you just make strips with the peppers and the onion and the tomatoes and you saute it at the end.
That's it. It's that simple.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
I don't even put any garlic or onion. I do not. It's literally just the peppers because it's so good once they're like slow sauteed.
Yeah. And then you can put them in tortillas or lettuce wraps or whatever you want to do. Top them with whatever salsa or hot sauce. Personally, I like sriracha on the fajitas. You can add any toppings you want. You like lettuce.
I like lettuce
on top for that extra crunch.
And a little bit of cheese.
You could do,
so you can make some cheese sauce that we have.
Or just do a little, because a little cheese shreds on these goes a long way.
Yeah, it really does. Really, really does. And then just pinto beans and Spanish rice. And that's it on the side. It's really easy and simple. And then the Spanish rice has got lots of flavor as well. And then the beans do too. So it's not like you're missing anything if you don't add spices to the fajitas. It's just the peppers and onions are that good by themselves.
Yeah.
That you just don't need it.
Yeah, when you saute them, you kind of like release the flavors and
something. And then
some of the sugars come out of the onion and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And some people are just like, really? That's it? You don't add like chicken strips? And no, when I just it's a really good way to just get a lot of vegetables.
Yeah. And so, because I feel like it almost sounds weird, or I understand how it could, but I remember like some 10-ish years ago, when we were vegetarian, we went to eat at a restaurant in Santa Fe and we ordered their vegetarian fajitas. And I was curious what it was going to be. And it was literally just the fajitas without the meat in it, which was basically peppers and onion.
Yeah.
And green chili. They put like big
strips of green chili.
Yeah. And at first I did what other people do. I'm like, really? That's what we're going to eat? And then we ate it and I was like, dang, that was good.
Yeah.
You don't need the meat.
You really don't. You could add it if you wanted to.
Right. So if you wanted to.
But another more whole foodsy option is mushrooms. I think your sisters like it with mushrooms.
Yeah. Kind of adds to the texture. I like that too.
I like it just the peppers.
Right. Or some people like to put tofu in them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or tempeh. There's a lot of ways you could go, but we always just fall back on no meat, no nothing, just the peppers.
Yep.
And it makes it super whole foods.
Yes. And the kids love it.
They love it.
They eat so much. It's incredible. I'm always like, oh my gosh, they really love this.
I know. So we always buy peppers like,
Yes.
as often as we can to have them on hand. And it's a really good go-to meal.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in line with fajitas, beans and rice.
Mm-hmm.
Another really healthy and easy meal to make is a burrito bowl.
Yes.
And again, everybody really likes this when we make them. They're so good.
Yeah, the boys really like it a lot.
And easy to make.
Easy,
so
yeah.
how would you explain a burrito bowl?
We typically do ours with cilantro, lime, rice. But you can also just do plain rice. And black beans, some pico de gallo, some pepper, probably red pepper or orange pepper, because you got the red for the pico. And I like to do mine by colors sometimes. So the black beans, maybe an orange or yellow pepper, some pico de gallo, some red onion, so you get that purple look also. Even though there's some onion in the pico, you could still double up or you could switch them out. Corn,
yeah.
Yeah, some corn. And sometimes some extra cilantro on top. Some salsa or hot sauce.
Avocado.
What else? Avocado, yes.
This is one where avocado
is really, really good and goes a long way. And then you can just do a squeeze of extra lime on top, because if you have salsa or pico, that adds a lot of, besides adding a lot of flavor, it adds a lot of like liquid, so it's not dry. And then we also like to add, I think, lettuce. We put lettuce also.
Yeah, greens,
yeah. So
that's what makes it such a rounded,
because it's rice, beans, greens, salsa or pico, corn,
and
pepper. And then another extra squeeze of lime, some avocado, so you get like a healthy fat. And then if you need a crunch, you can take a couple of tortilla chips and crumble it on top to get like that like crunchy in it. Because sometimes I like the crunch. So if the lettuce isn't enough crunch for you, you can add a little bit of tortilla chips crumbled up on top.
Yeah, and you just throw all that in a bowl and eat it. It's that easy.
It's really tasty too.
It's a really good way for us to get our greens in.
Yeah.
And this is a good one for if you're doing like meal prep.
Yes.
Or trying to go that route, because sometimes we'll just make a big batch of rice, a big batch of beans. Chop your greens and your cilantro and everything like that. So you just have a fridge full of ingredients, fixins. And then every day for lunch, you just pull everything out and throw a little bit of everything in your bowl and have burrito bowls. So it's really good in that regard also. Yes. And then I was going to say, one time we meant to buy a giant thing of salsa and we accidentally bought a giant thing of picante sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like way more like liquidy than salsa. And I decided to try it in my burrito bowl one day, and I actually like that because it makes it less dry. Yeah. You know, so you don't need, sometimes I'll squeeze like all kinds of lime juice or something because I want it more. Not as dry, but that picante sauce
was kind of perfect for that.
Yeah. So I actually prefer picante sauce in my burrito bowls.
Good to know.
So another little tidbit there. So next is arroz con gandules.
Yes.
Which is something you brought back from Miami.
Yes.
From your days in Miami. And we all love, and the kids can't get enough of.
Yeah. And so it's rice and pigeon peas, I think is what gandules is in English.
Right.
And it's really, really delicious. And it's really just like the rice. And this is one that I prefer white rice to. I'm not one to do this with brown rice. But it's really just the rice and the gandules and some broth and flavorings and cilantro. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Sofrito is the main ingredient for all the spice.
And you can buy some ready-made sofrito, right?
Yeah, you can buy ready-made sofrito. Probably, I haven't seen it in the like quote unquote Hispanic section in New Mexico, but Tallinn Market has some ready-made sofrito, and you can probably order some on Amazon, I'm sure.
Or you could make it yourself.
I like making it myself sometimes, especially if I'm like, you know, if I have a lot of peppers and they need to get got, and it's real easy. You just throw the ingredients for the sofrito in a blender and you blend it, and then you can freeze it in little cubes, and then you just pull out the cubes and use the cubes. And then the spices are sazon and sometimes adobo, a little bit of adobo. And you can get those in the grocery store as well. Walmart carries them. I've seen them at Walmart all the time. But there is a lot of salt in the ones at the store. So a couple years ago, I found a recipe to just make my own so that you can put however much salt you want. And I just made a jar of it, and a little bit goes a long way. So it lasts quite a bit. It's not like you're making it super often. Well, I guess depending on how much you use that spice once you make it. But it makes a decent amount so that it's like an investment in a little bit of time in making your own sazon or adobo goes a long way.
Yeah, so you could just spend one day, make your adobo, make your sazon, make your sofrito, and then you have it for X amount of time.
Yeah.
Because spices last a long time. You can freeze the sofrito so you're good for until you run out, basically.
Right. And then I use the sofrito not only in arroz con gandules, but with red beans and rice as well.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And the spices adobo and sazon too.
Yeah. So, and that's a good way to control your salt intake and make it more healthy. You could use organic veggies and stuff if you're able to. And then that's a good way to even boost the health benefits of it.
Yeah. But yes, everybody loves it. I was amazed. I make this huge pot and it goes quickly.
One time I didn't even get any. I still remember that time from like 3 years ago. Yeah. Just kidding. But I knew you made some, and then I was all happy to get some when I got home from work. I'm like, where is it? Oh. The kids were like, oh. Well, okay, can you make some more? Because, that's how good it is.
Yeah, it's tasty. All right, so we'll make sure to have all those recipes for the spices and the sofrito and the recipe to make the arroz con gandules.
All linked.
Yes.
All right, so another really good one is what we call our Southwest Chipotle Ranch salad.
So good.
And I don't know if we just made this up or if we got it somewhere.
I think we made it up.
I mean, maybe it's,
or
no idea is original, but
exactly.
I'm sure it existed before we made it up, but we just made it up.
We made it. I mean, it sounds like something you could get at a restaurant, so we just veganized it at home.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like a burrito bowl in a way, but not really.
With no rice.
But it's basically
big
a
old salad. Yeah.
So you have to have black beans, you have to have red pepper, you have to have corn.
This is another one where avocado is a must.
And you have to have avocado.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe you don't, but I think you do. We think you do. And what else do we put in it? Those are the main ingredients.
Those are the main ingredients. And then sometimes maybe some red onion, because that purple color is real nice. And because we don't typically add salsa or pico de gallo to this, because you're adding a Chipotle Ranch as a dressing.
Right. And so basically...
And lime.
And you have to squeeze lime on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you take some little tortilla strips and sprinkle those on top for the crunch.
Yes.
And then it's perfection.
It's really, really good.
Right. So what's the Chipotle Ranch?
The Chipotle Ranch is basically just ranch with Chipotle spice added. We used to get the just ranch Chipotle when they made it. And we used it on that. And it was so good. And then they stopped making it. And so my backup was I grabbed Chipotle spice from someplace and added that to the ranch. And that worked.
Super good. Now, when you put the ranch on it, that kind of takes away from the Whole Foodsy type of thing. Now, some people are fine with that because it's just a little dressing over a giant bowl of nutrients.
Right.
So some people are cool with that. If you really want to do the Whole Foods thing, you can make a ranch from scratch. High Carb Hannah has a ranch
with
dressing recipe that uses hemp seeds and it's whole foods, and then you can add some chipotle to that.
And we typically make our own ranch for this, but the ranch that we typically use has a bunch of mayo in it, so
vegan
it's
mayo.
Also not Whole Foodsy, but the hemp ranch from High Carb Hannah is really tasty.
Yeah, so I just want to throw in that's a way to make this delicious Southwest Chipotle Ranch salad completely whole foods, including the ranch.
Yes.
For people who want to go that route.
Yep.
And it's not hard to make either. You soak the hemp seeds and then you throw everything in a blender.
Yeah.
It's like super easy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really good. I want to eat all of these meals now, by the way. All right, so we're to number 10 of our list of 10 healthy meals that are easy to make that we all love, and that is stuffed shells.
Oh my goodness, yes.
AKA pasta with tofu ricotta. If you don't want to, because sometimes we don't do the fancy stuffed shells. We just make the tofu ricotta.
And put it in with some pasta sauce.
And mix it.
And then you get like a rose creamy pasta sauce that you can put on whatever noodles you want.
Yep.
And if you go whole wheat noodles, you get a little bit more nutrients that way.
Or you could even do like brown rice pasta or quinoa pasta or
the red lentil, the lentil
free or whatever you got to do.
The lentil pastas and stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of variations.
Because it's hard to find shells, the giant shells to stuff in those variations of pasta. Usually it's white pasta.
I think I've seen whole wheat lasagna noodles. I don't remember if there were stuffed shell noodles in whole wheat, but the whole wheat lasagna noodles at like Sprouts. So Whole Foods might have some too. And we always do spinach with the tofu ricotta because it's a great way to get greens, and I just love it.
It adds a lot.
It adds so much. I don't think I ever make the tofu ricotta now without spinach.
Right.
At all.
And again, it's like the tofu ricotta is so easy to make. You throw everything in a blender.
Yeah.
And then you have ricotta.
Yeah.
And then you mix in some spinach, and then you're done.
Yeah.
You can mix it with pasta sauce or
stuff
the shells and then pour pasta sauce on top.
Bake
it's amazingly easy.
Yep.
If you wanted to add some vegan mozzarella shreds on top and then bake it, that, is going to add a lot. Obviously, it's also going to add not Whole Foods stuff to it. Right. So you could go either way, but they're so delicious and cheesy without that.
Yes.
You definitely don't need it because the tofu ricotta does wonders for it.
Yes, it does.
And not only does like our family, like us and our kids love it, but like the rest of our extended family, they love when you make this for family gatherings and stuff. One of my sisters requested it for her birthday for like several years in a row. Yeah. And she always jokes with us like, whenever you're making stuffed shells, can you invite me over for dinner?
Yep. And then I use this tofu ricotta in lasagna too.
Yeah. So it's an easy way to make lasagna.
Yeah. And then in the lasagna, you can add even more veggies. You can put in eggplant and green and yellow squash. And
I think squash in lasagna is so good.
Yeah.
It's another good way to get vegetables in.
Mm-hmm. And you can always add the squash to like, if you do the rose ricotta sauce.
Right.
I guess we'll call it the rose ricotta sauce. But you can add veggies to that too with your pasta and the rose ricotta sauce.
There you go.
That'd be tasty.
Yeah, that'd be really good. So notice a theme in these meals is ways to enjoy the heck out of your vegetables.
Yeah.
Because the way we grew up and stuff, it's like we're not conditioned to be like, vegetables.
Exactly.
But
it
then
was just a side item.
It was always a side that you had to eat.
Yeah.
To get your dessert or something like that. That's how a lot of people like feel about vegetables, but it doesn't have to be that way. When you start exploring and making these foods, you're like, they really are good.
Yeah.
And they really do add a lot to foods, to meals and stuff.
Yes.
And so you just gotta do it in such a way that, right?
Yeah, you just gotta find ways that you like them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hopefully this gave you some inspiration. Go out and make some new meals to load your fridge and then your life with vegetables. And we've got some, good soups and stews to get you through the winter, some cold, delicious foods to get you through the summer.
Yeah.
And here's to a year of health and wellness.
Yes.
And thanks, as always, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. We release new episodes every 2 weeks. You can always email us at plantbased@apnm.org or visit our website at apnm.org/plantbased for classes, recipes, and more resources.
See you in 2 weeks.